Adultification has deep societal roots and disproportionately impacts girls perceived as different or grown. Scholars such as Epstein define adultification as the process of attributing adult characteristics to children, often ignoring their developmental stage. While adultification is pervasive across many contexts, it disproportionately affects tall girls and Black girls specifically. Tall girls face assumptions about their age and maturity simply because of their physical stature. In social and educational settings, taller girls are often perceived as older than they are, leading adults to impose higher behavioral expectations. For example, a 12-year-old girl who is the height of a high school student, or a grown woman as some may say, might be scolded more harshly for behaviors that will be deemed as acceptable than her shorter peers. Society falsely equates height with emotional and cognitive development, creating an undue burden of these children to act quote-unquote mature. This trend is even more pronounced when race is considered. Epstein found that Black girls are consistently perceived as less innocent and more adult-like than their white counterparts. This results in diminished opportunities to experience the carefree childhood their peers enjoy. For tall Black girls, these biases intersect, compounding the pressures and challenges they face. A high-profile example of this adultification is the treatment of Blue Ivy Carter. As a child of two of the most famous entertainers in the world, Blue Ivy has been under public scrutiny from an early age. One of the earliest controversies surrounding her involves her natural hair. When Blue Ivy was still a toddler, critics took to social media to mock and criticize her natural Afro-textured hair, deeming it unkempt and inappropriate. This public discourse revealed not only deep-seated biases against natural Black hair, but also how society feels entitled to police the appearance of Black children. Such criticism plays into harmful stereotypes that devalue Black aesthetics while imposing adult-like grooming expectations on young girls. For a child as young as Blue Ivy, these comments disregarded her right to simply exist as a child, free from societal judgment. As Blue Ivy has grown older, the focus shifts from her hair to her clothing. When she appeared at events like the Grammys or the Art Gala, many critics speculate that her attire is too mature. This judgment underscores how girls, especially tall and Black girls, are unfairly subjected to adult standards. Instead of appreciating Blue Ivy as a child expressing herself through fashion, critics often framed her as a miniature adult, and I really believe it's because of who her parents are. The psychological consequences of adultification has been talked about by researchers, indicating that children who are prematurely expected to act like adults are more likely to experience anxiety, depression, and issues with self-esteem. For tall girls, the constant reinforcement of being quote-unquote older than their peers isolates them and often deprives them of the opportunity to form age-appropriate friendships and enjoy childhood freedoms. For Black girls, adultification adds another layer of emotional strain. Epstein found that these girls are often subjected to harsher discipline in schools, viewed as less innocent and granted fewer opportunities for play. In Blue Ivy's case, of course she's rich, but the scrutiny of her appearance sends a damaging message that her worth is tied to conforming to societal norms that disregard her individuality. Moreover, adultification perpetuates restrictive gender norms. Tall girls often feel pressure to downplay their physicality to avoid drawing unwanted attention or criticism. For example, I had friends who were taller who used to tell me they hated wearing shorts or skirts because they felt their legs were too skinny, or they couldn't help how revealing it showed their bodies and how it just made them feel uncomfortable. And this can lead to a phenomenon where girls, again, continue to shrink themselves emotionally and socially in spaces where they should feel safe to express themselves, like the gym, of course. The experiences of tall girls like Blue Ivy Carter illuminate how adultification intersects with race. When Black girls, particularly those in public or high-profile spaces, are denied the innocence afforded to their white counterparts. Blue Ivy's hair, again, was like the forefront of her expectation and cultural and racial expectations when she was just a toddler, with critics attempting to impose Eurocentric beauty standards on a young Black girl. And this racialized adultification not only polices appearance, but also places weight on behavior, positioning tall girls as ambassadors for their race. And me personally, I feel like how she moves is very different than how a bi-ethnic Northwest moves. And I don't want to criticize them too much because they are children, but I do know that parents and their influences plays a role. But I do know in this racist world, you can see a bit of a difference on how people just celebrate North as being like this individualized child, whereas Blue Ivy is criticized for her dance, even though she does better and she becomes a better performer, or how she wears things. But Northwest is like, her mom has her in rooms with adults, no matter their age, and doing everything. And I'm not saying that how Northwest lives is totally wrong, because it's, it is what it is, but it's just interesting how Northwest just moves more freely than Blue Ivy, who to me is a bit more conservative, and you really don't even hear her speak unless it's interviews. Adults need to recognize that children are not public property and have a right to self-expression without being judged by adult standards. I'm going to play some public opinion, and then I'm going to continue with my conclusion.
Did y'all expect for Blue to show up to this red carpet in Justice and Children's Place with Payless shoes? This is literally a red carpet for a movie that she is one of the stars in. Let's be so for real. If you can look at her and think that she looks anything less than a child, you're the weirdo in this situation. And that's what I'm saying. This was me at my 8th grade graduation. Same cut, same length as Blue's. It was no problem. I even had on little heels. Like, people just are truly looking for something. Like, oh, if I can't get her parents, I can get her. But y'all seem to forget that that's a child. That is a child. Regardless if you like Beyonce or not. Regardless if you like Jay-Z or not and think he's guilty of the stupid allegations that's against him, which there's no evidence towards. She's dressed like a tall 13-year-old. She's tall. Have you seen her family? Like, y'all see her long legs. I know y'all see her legs. She is tall. The dress is not showing any cleavage. I got comments that saying, oh, she shouldn't have a sweetheart neckline. It's showing cleavage. Where? Because there's nothing showing. So like I said, everybody is entitled to their opinion, but at the end of the day, she's a child, and she's not dressed inappropriately. Y'all just fishing for something.
Blue Ivy eats Tina's gumbo. She's not like your son Connor that eats nuggets for dinner or air for dinner. And I'm not even trying to be funny. Julius is literally there to protect her. This literally was a red carpet. You guys are talking as if she's in the street selling meow. She's not. The examples that people are giving, all examples of church and when you go to church. You are a Black girl, got pulled about what you were wearing. It was more likely because you're naturally curvy or you are developing faster than your age mates. Women usually that would pull you and say things like, there's men around. Does your mom not know how to dress you and stuff like that? And the truth is because everyone who's an adult is more likely to be and has a really inappropriate thought towards children, but no one really wants to talk about it. But in reality, people never seen kids as kids. The whole world tends to see kids literally as property or to be, which is crazy. But because these are quote unquote women and it's for your safety, safety of what? Safety of what? How about we go to the root of it rather than keep adultifying Black children? Blue Ivy looks robotic because that's what you guys did to her. You let her know that she needs to know this right here.
Really happy for girls that look like me all around the world are able to watch this movie and hear and see themselves in it.
Everyone knows why Blue Ivy is so well-mannered. Not well-mannered just to be well-mannered. It's because if she steps one foot in the wrong side, y'all are going to jump on her and probably show a lot of your futurism. Because yes, Let's talk about it. Her nose. You guys keep tweaking her nose. And I've seen a lot of beehive apps, and I know exactly there's two type of races that do this, that edit Blue Ivy's nose. She looks like her mom. She looks something like her dad. Blue Ivy looks like both of her parents. Literally, it's a perfect mix, and that's okay. And this is a beehive. I see some beehives literally being like, no, it's her mom. She looks like her mom. Like, check that at the door. A lot of you guys are still in the her property mentality. Black people, black children specifically, are here to entertain you. What age does a black child have to be where you start calling the police on them or you start adultifying them? It's going to be 2025, and we need to stop having these inappropriate and this still belief that black people should be jazzing up for you. It's unfortunate that Blue Ivy knows that she cannot step out of line at such a young age. Literally there with her family, they literally came in and left. Narratives that are not there, and y'all purposely do that. Y'all did the same thing comparing her to North and things like that. Y'all did that on purpose to create this bad experience in Blue Ivy's head so that it always seems harder, because the truth is you don't think Blue Ivy should get what she deserves. You are jealous that she naturally has access to things that you probably wouldn't. And the fact that she's also good at it and she's well behaved and does nothing wrong, black people do enjoy a good struggle story. And I'm noticing we're struggling to let that go. Let that go. Let her be a preteen. She's a preteen and you can see it. Just because you are uncomfortable with your inappropriate thoughts, try to make her to feel inappropriate.
So this young lady has been going viral on Twitter. They've been cooking her ass, but she made this tweet where she was like, me at 12 years old versus Blue Ivy at 12 years old. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Now, I don't know about y'all, but I don't judge children how y'all judge children. And then also number two, your parents are not Beyonce. All right. I'm also going to show Blue Ivy's dress. I think she looks gorgeous. Just because, you know, young ladies show like or have like the little cleavage thing, it's non-sexual, bro. It's a ballroom dress. All right. But let's look at the dress in full context. So yeah, personally, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that dress. Like I said, I don't think she's like too revealing or anything like that. And that's what she's trying to say. She's trying to say that these girls are more revealing now than ever. I just think it's a new era for fashion, for all these different things. Look, everybody, I don't know, bro. This look like a school portrait. It was like something out of a yearbook. This is like the premiere of Mufasa. I don't think the two don't correlate. That's just my opinion on it. But y'all let me know y'all opinion. Peace.
Nothing's wrong with Blue Ivy's dress. She's just being overly sexualized like black girls often are. She does not have too much cleavage. That dress is not grown. If a grown person put on that dress and would to that same premiere, people would look at them like, why are you wearing that kitty ass dress? Because it's not a grown dress. The dress is not grown. She is not grown. She does not look grown. She looks like a kid. She is tall. You can say, oh, she looks older than 12. But that's because she's tall, not because her dress is inappropriate. The truth of the matter is, a lot of people need to check their inner bias. And they need to check how they view black women, black girls. Because they view girls as women way too early. And so anytime they feel like, oh, well, she has a little body, and by body I mean you could have a C-cup boob, they ain't gotta be too big, but at that point it's like a light switch turns on no matter what the girl's age is, and they automatically deem it as the girl being grown or dressing grown, when in reality it's not that. It's not that at all. I talk to y'all all the time about perception, and a lot of the time people get up in arms because the issue comes from their perception, not from what the matter they're up in arms about. So yeah. Also, another thing, I seen a whole lot of comments, people talking about, oh, Jay-Z parading around Beyonce and Blue Ivy because of the allegations, as if that premiere was not scheduled. Like, they wasn't supposed to go to the premiere. Even though Blue Ivy is starring in that, in the Lion King, they wasn't supposed to go to the premiere to support their child. It's like people trying to make everything into a conspiracy theory, and I'm like, 1 + 1 = 2 still. But maybe that's just me.
Blue Ivy is dressed normally. She's dressed like she's going to her first movie premiere in 2024. You posting your Booker T. Washington school picture from 1996 in comparison to her to try to make it seem like she's dressed just so grown is weird. This also goes back to y'all trying to police little black girls in every and anything that they do. She has on a beautiful quinceañera style dress, looks like a little cupcake with braids. Some of you are really just mad that she's more successful than you at 12, and it's like, hey, take that up with your parents. Whatever the case may be, the point of this conversation is to leave young black girls alone, to be young black girls. Stop projecting on them bullshit that they're not even thinking about. Y'all have not been nice to this girl even before she was born, and it's just like, bro, leave young black girls alone, especially this one right now.
Earlier in my Hot Topics, we were talking about the backlash that Blue Ivy was getting with the dress that she wore for the Mufasa premiere. Now, you are a mom of a teen daughter.
Yeah.
So what do you think of her outfit?
Well, my mama protection, you know, I immediately turned up real quick. But first of all, she looks gorgeous. And I think the fact that anybody has anything to say about someone else's daughter, any minor, I think, you know, just mind your business.
Well, yeah.
She's talented. She toured the world with her mom. Like, there's nothing you can say. You can't dim that shine, okay?
Yeah.
So,
and I thought
she's doing
she was so poised. Like,
so poised.
She wasn't acting like, you know, we see people getting on the red carpet.
Extra,
she wasn't team too much. She
no,
was like,
beautiful.
Just enough.
Let that baby glow. Okay?
Let that baby glow.
So the adultification of tall girls is amplified, obviously, by racial bias, which strips children of their innocence and burdens them with adult-like expectations. The treatment of Blue Ivy, from the criticism from her natural hair to her fashion choices, exemplifies how society robs young children of their right to be children. This issue goes beyond individuals. It reflects deeply engraved biases that disproportionately impact marginalized communities. And even when it comes to class, addressing adultification requires conscious effort from all of us to recognize and challenge, yet celebrate childhood and allow children to grow into their identities on their terms. And again, Blue Ivy happens to be from a wealthy family. Her parents probably don't care because they're the 1%. But just think about how, like, a public figure like Blue Ivy and her family are criticized. And think about the average black girl who probably doesn't afford the clothes or tailor to her liking and how she has to navigate through the world. I just think about that in general and how we choose to be patient or impatient with these young girls who are just generally trying to grow into love in their bodies. That's all I have to say generally about this subject for now. Let me know your thoughts down below, and thank you so much for listening to Books and Looks TV. I'll see y'all next time.